Welcome back to the Wild Files, the podcast where we talk hiring, leadership, retention, growth, culture, and all the many truths many MSPs only pay attention to once they start costing money. I'm your host, Jane Matthews, founder of Wildcat Careers, where we work exclusively with MSPs to fix broken hiring processes, create cultures people actually want to work in, and help teams that succeed with the right people in the right seats. And today we're talking about one of the most loved, abused, misunderstood, and overused words in business: culture. Now, culture is fascinating because almost everyone says they have it. Every company says they have a brilliant culture. Every website says people come first. Every careers page says they're collaborative. Every leadership team says development matters. Every business claims to be supportive. Lovely, beautiful, inspirational, and sometimes true. But here's the problem. Candidates do not believe culture claims anymore. Not because people stop caring about culture, but because they care more than ever. They simply stopped trusting unsupported statements. They have learned. They have joined businesses that promised progression and delivered stagnation, promised flexibility and delivered suspicion, promised support and delivered silence, promised family feel and delivered emotional chaos with cupcakes. So now when companies say we have a great culture, candidates think, great, prove it. So that is what today's episode is all about. Why culture claims have lost power. What candidates now look for instead, how MSPs accidentally damage trust, and how to build culture proof that attracts and keeps better people. Because, guys, the simple truth is this: culture has never mattered more, but slogans have never mattered less. Let's get into it. So let's be honest, businesses caused this themselves. For years, culture became decoration, a phrase to fill an empty space, a line to make average companies sound warm, something to place next to a stock image of smiling colleagues looking at a laptop no one has ever used. We're like family. People are our greatest asset. Work hard, play hard. We empower our people. We invest in growth. Now, again, sometimes these things are genuine, but often they are branding perfume sprayed over operational sweat. Candidates noticed because candidates lived the reality, and reality always catches slogans eventually. Think about the average professional now. They have likely experienced at least one disappointing employer, maybe several. They joined somewhere that oversold itself. They trusted the interview energy. They believed the promises. Then came reality. Poor management, no structure, high turnover, no development, no feedback, too much pressure, no clarity. You see, once someone has lived that, they become sharper next time. They stop trusting words. They start looking for evidence. That's not cynicism, that's wisdom. So let's simplify culture because it gets mystified. Culture is not snacks. Culture is not branded hoodies. Culture is not a chance once a year to have an away day when someone says synergy near a flip chart. Culture is not neon signs saying hustle. Culture is how it feels to work there repeatedly, how leaders behave under pressure, how managers communicate on bad days, how mistakes are handled, how success is recognized, how standards are managed, how conflict is resolved, how safe people feel being honest, how people are treated when they need support, how accountability actually happens. That is culture, normal Tuesday culture. Not Christmas party culture. Culture matters everywhere, but in MSPs it matters even more. Why? Because MSP environments naturally contain pressure. Tickets, escalations, client urgency, technical surprises, competing priorities, demand spikes, difficult personalities, unexpected outages, which means if the culture is weak, pressure, well, that becomes poison. People blame. Patience disappears, knowledge gets hoarded, managers firefight, good people detach emotionally. Clients feel tension. But if the culture is strong, pressure becomes, manageable. People collaborate, problems surface earlier, humour survives, ownership rises, learning happens faster. Clients feel confidence. That is why culture at MSPs is not fluffy. It's operational infrastructure. So the family feel myth, guys. We need to talk properly about the phrase, we're like a family here. Because, many leaders mean well when they say it. They mean loyalty, care, togetherness, support. But many candidates hear something very different. Blurred boundaries, emotional guilt, tolerance of poor behaviour, expectation to overextend, difficulty giving back and giving feedback, unspoken pressure to sacrifice. Let me say something controversial. Healthy businesses are not families. They are teams. And teams are often better because teams can care deeply and keep standards. Teams can support and hold accountability. Teams can be warm and professional. Teams can grow people without emotionally trapping them. I would rather join a brilliant team than a dysfunctional family any day. So, modern candidates, they do research, quiet research. They check LinkedIn, they see whether staff stay, they notice whether people get promoted, they look at comments under the company posts, they check if leaders celebrate others or only themselves. They read reviews carefully. They ask old colleagues privately. They watch how interview invites are actually handled. This matters because hiring starts before the application. The moment that curiosity begins, the assessment begins. And culture signals are everywhere. You see, strong candidates, they often assess 6 things really quickly. Leadership visibility. Do leaders seem switched on? Manager quality. Would I be well led? Progression proof. Do people actually grow here? Consistency. Do values survive busy periods? Recognition. Are people noticed? Energy. Do people seem drained or proud? See, that is a culture assessment in real time. No one says it out loud, but it happens. Many companies forget interviews are not neutral. Candidates are watching consistently. Did interviewers arrive prepared? Did they read my CV? Did they listen or just wait to speak? Do they talk respectively about current staff? Do they know what success looks like? Do they contradict each other? Do they seem rushed? Do they seem kind? One sloppy interview can destroy 10 polished LinkedIn posts because behaviour beats branding every single time. Culture usually mirrors leadership, guys. If leaders are calm, fair, and clear, culture often stabilizes. If leaders are reactive, moody, and inconsistent, culture absorbs that too. If leaders say well-being matters but glorify burnout, culture notices. If leaders say honesty matters but punish challenge, culture notices. If leaders reward chaos merchants because they are loud performers, culture notices. People study what leaders tolerate. That becomes culture faster than mission statements ever will. So what does real culture proof look like? Well, long-serving staff who still have a spark, managers that are promoted internally, training budgets that, are actually used, leaders communicating during difficult periods, new starters onboarded properly, mistakes treated as learning moments, not public executions, people referring friends consistently, reasonable workloads, constructive one-to-ones, visible appreciation. That is proof, and proof, guys, builds trust. Poor culture often creates quiet exits first. See, this is the retention cost nobody talks about. People do not always resign dramatically. They emotionally leave months earlier. They stop caring, stop suggesting ideas, stop stretching, stop defending the company, stop imagining a future here. They eventually come to you and they physically leave. Leaders often think the resignation was sudden. I'm afraid to say it rarely was. It was delayed evidence. So if I ran an MSP wanting better culture quickly, I would do this. First, I would audit management quality, not just staff performance. Then I'd ask people what drains them most. Then I'd fix one reoccurring frustration fast. Then I would train managers to communicate better. Then I would celebrate contribution more consistently. Then I'd create visible growth pathways for people. Then I'd make onboarding feel intentional. You see, because culture improves through repeated behaviour, not these annual speeches. I want to talk to you now about the dangerous promise gap. One of the most damaging things in hiring is promise versus reality. If the advert says development but no pathway exists, if the interview says flexibility but guilt follows flexibility, if onboarding says welcome but nobody is actually prepared, if culture says support but managers, well, they vanish. Trust breaks hard and fast. And once trust breaks, retention becomes expensive because disappointed hires rarely become loyal hires. So some leaders still hear culture and think, oh, that's one of them fluffy soft topics. So let's translate it. Poor culture increases your turnover of staff. Turnover of staff increases hiring spend. Hiring spend, well, reduces your margins. Poor culture hurts service consistency. Poor service consistency hurts client retention. Poor culture damages referrals. Poor culture slows growth. Poor culture consumes leadership time. Culture is commercial leverage, and it always has been. You see, the strongest cultures are not often loud, but they are steady, fair, competent, respectful, ambitious, low ego, high ownership. People know where they stand. People feel challenged, not crushed. People are stretched but not burnt out. People can speak honestly. Those businesses often outperform their louder competitors for years, quietly. Ask yourself this honestly. If a brilliant engineer joined tomorrow, what would they experience in month one? Clarity or confusion? Warmth or politics? Growth or drift? Leadership or management theatre? Belonging or survival mode? That answer matters more than any slogan. So let's land this properly. Culture claims do not count anymore. Not because culture stopped mattering, but because people became smarter buyers. They now want evidence. Evidence in leadership, evidence in behaviour, evidence in progression, evidence in consistency, evidence in how people are treated after and before joining. So if your culture is really strong, brilliant, that's fantastic. Show it, demonstrate it, let people feel it in every interaction. Because the best cultures no longer rely on, they create proof. So stay authentic, stay consistent, stay people first, and as always, remember to stay wild.